How's it going, y'all? Wallamoose here, and welcome to your Friday market update. Today is March 15th, and we've got some good stuff for you. Things going up, things going down, and things just happening. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so before we get into the screen capture, PSA just announced that they will be limiting intakes from Canada, Mexico, and Hong Kong due to the American tariffs. CGC said they will not be doing that, so this is kind of a bad move on PSA's part. I feel like they're in hot water right now anyway with their, non-transparent grading method, so they really need to do all they can to stay in everyone's good graces. But I'll definitely stay in the know on all the grading drama right now, because I know Tag has some drama, and it's just it's difficult to know who to send your cards to grading with. But enough of that, I'll make a whole video on that later. Let's get into the fun stuff. So first up, we all know that Lucario and Gardevoir are going to have Mega EX cards, which is super cool. That's going to come in August and September. But they also just released that they're going to have two special pre-made decks for Gengar and Diancie. Now, these aren't going to be what the cards look like. These are the previous ones. But that is a confirmation that we are going to get a Mega Gengar card, which I already know is going to be super high valued. That's super exciting, but we don't know what the artwork looks like on that yet. Next up, Heatwave Arena just released, which is the Japanese set that is going to be going into Journey Together or... not Journey Together, Destined Rivals. So now we know what the illustration rare and the SIRs are going to look like. Let's just kind of scroll through here and I'll give you a little peek. I love this Misty Psyduck one. I feel like the style of art is really cool. I love the composition with Psyduck being bigger and misty underwater. I think that's a good looking card. Obviously, I want this Hydrapple. That's a super cool card. I want that one. And then this Rotom is super cool. Love that art style. This Electriv is very cool. That's kind of a more unique art style than we've seen on some of the other cards in the set. And then, of course, we got the full art with the trainers in the background. These, I feel like, are going to be pretty sought after just because they are large and in charge, and I bet they'll have a very cool texture. So we got some good cards coming out, and I'm excited to see these in the English set soon. Alrighty, now let's jump into cards going up. The first thing we got a Miraidon 244 from Scarlet and Violet base. This one is a highly playable card, and we see it in a lot of competitive decks. This one has gone up steadily for the past 3 months at 18 in December, all the way to 27 now. Again, I think that's because it's a highly playable card. I don't know how the rotation format, or the format rotation in April will affect this, but right now this is a card that is going up pretty quickly. Next up is Jacques 250 from, again, the Scarlet and Violet base set. For an SIR, $7 is crazy. But as you can see, in December it was $3, which is even more crazy, and it has doubled to almost $7 right now. So if you're looking for a cheap SIR, this is a great one to pick up. It's not the most exciting one, but it's a good portrayal of his character, and it's a cheap pickup if you want it. Next up, another trainer, Iono. This one is obviously going up because of Journey Together. Iono and her Bellibolt are going to be key players in that set. You can see this is kind of... it took off early January with the hinting of Journey Together, and then it's just gone up from there. So December is 52, and now it's 68. I imagine this one will keep going up, especially since it's an SIR. But we'll see how it's affected with the new set when it comes out. The next two kind of go together. The first one is Corviknight V from Silver Tempest. I love that set. I really want the Lugia. But this is a very cool artwork with good use of foreground and background elements. But yeah, it's gone up. These numbers are still pretty small, so $3 in December, $7 in March. But $7 for this card, I feel like that's a good deal, and it's probably going to keep going up for a while because it's a super cool artwork. In addition to that, the Corviknight VMAX from Silver Tempest, they kind of go together, so it makes sense that they would increase in price together. You can see that the car that he was sitting on is now on his head, so it's just the scale of this Pokemon. But if we go down here, we can see it was $3 in December and $6. So it's pretty much mirroring the charts between each other just because the cards are so similar. And last up for cards going up, this one is super cool. Blastoise and Piplup GX from Tag Team. We're seeing a lot of Tag Team cards go up from Sun and Moon Cosmic Eclipse, and this one's no exception. So if we go down here to 3-month view, it was 17 back in December, and it's 30 now in March. So if you're looking at these charts and you're like, man, I should have started collecting in December, we're in a market boom right now, so just hang in there. If you're new to collecting, it'll probably correct in probably about another 9 months. But Pokemon always goes through these hills and valleys of value, and we're just in a really big market boom right now. So hang in there. I know these prices are frustrating. Now let's talk about cards going down, the fun stuff. There has been a lot of market manipulation these past few weeks, more so than really ever before, with a lot of Reddit groups and Discords just banding together to pumping up cards. Slowpoke was a victim of that, Slowpoke 204. As you can see, we had a huge spike in traffic down here with 66 sales, 62 sales back to back, and it just pumped up the price super high to $40. We're starting to see the effects of that kind of dwindle out as people aren't buying it as much anymore, just because the prices is so inflated. And now it's at 31, so I imagine that it'll keep going down. But use this as a warning. If you ever see a chart that spikes really quickly due to a high number of sales, it's usually an organized thing, or it's just because it's trending on social media, and those values won't really hold water for too long and they'll just crash back down. So don't get stuck holding the bag, and if you see charts like this, stay away until it corrects itself, because they always do. Some more examples of that are the Wiglet 206. Obviously, Wiglet is not a very sought-after Pokemon, and yet we see a spike of 70 items sold, and the price gets up to $11, and then it's going back down to $8. So anything that's like, although it did have like steady growth, anything suspicious like that is usually manipulative tactics, and especially for non-sought-after Pokemon like Wiglet, I would just stay away from these prices and wait till it goes back down. Now, if you see that happen with like a Charizard or a Pikachu or a very popular Pokemon, it may be something else just because it is a popular Pokemon. But like this Dondozo, probably half the people who collect Pokemon didn't even know Dondozo was a real Pokemon. 207, we can see here another spike, and then it's going back down. So, like I said, the past 2 weeks, we've had a lot of spiking activity, and it's starting to settle down a little bit. Honestly, I'm noticing the market slightly starting to cool off based on how it was in February. So I'm kind of hopeful for how the next few months are going to go. But again, we're still in that boom, so I wouldn't get too hopeful quite yet. A really surprising one that is dipping a little bit is Mew EX 232. This could be because they are going to, or there's leaked to reprint Paldean Fates. So that's going to put more bubble Mews on the market. But if we look here, the item sold was pretty steady for a while. It got all the way up to 420, which is insane. And then just the volume of items sold has just kind of dipped. So demand for this card has gone down, and thus the prices as well. It's down to 360. I could even see this getting down to like 325 before going back up. But if you want to pick up this card, if this is like your chase card, keep an eye on it because it may be a good time soon with this lack of popularity. Also, keep an eye on those reprints because I do think the reprints are affecting the Paldean Fates prices right now. And last up, another Mew, the Galarian Gallery Mew from Crown Zenith. This one became really popular because it trended on social media for a while, just because it's Mew sleeping surrounded by some other Pokemon, and just people love that. So we can see here there's a little spike of 173 items, which took it up to $25, and now it's kind of starting to settle back below 20. So I think this will kind of even out at 20, but I think 20 is a safe buy point for this card just because it is Mew. It's one of the more popular cards, and Crown Zenith is a couple years removed at this point. So I think this is a good pickup for $20. But I hope this helped. I hope it gave you some good insight on the market right now. I'm noticing some trends as if it's getting calmer, but I wouldn't say we're in smooth waters quite yet. It is still very disastrous in the community. But we'll continue to keep an eye on it every Friday, so be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And I appreciate you for watching, so I'll see you in the next one.